When you're looking at teachers in the field or novice teachers, pre-service teachers, teachers who are in a teacher prep program, some of the things that I'm looking for is definitely a few of the qualities that I listed a little bit earlier. When I said continuous learner, I mean, they're in the teacher prep program so they can so they can grab values from being a continuous learner. They're constantly learning new practices, constantly learning classroom management skills, learning how to write IEPs and so forth, and doing observations and anecdotal notes. So they're continuously learning throughout their entire program. So for some of those students that may want to give up in that teacher prep program, those are some of the teachers we're talking to and say, hey, maybe this profession may not be for you if you're struggling during that student teaching phase.
And so then when they make it through a program like yours, then they run it into a person like me. So especially in my current role, like I spend a lot of time and effort doing recruiting and checking different talent. And I see Dennis is nodding his head. I'm kind of like, I won't say I'm HR in our building, but I'm kind of like that in our building when it comes to talent recruitment and trying to pick out the pieces. And what I'm looking for when you make it in for those interviews is, to me, a great interview will feel like a conversation in a sense. And it's funny because in some of the first interviews that I conducted, people on the panel was like, Love, you should have a show. You should do a podcast. And lo and behold, here we are. We're doing that. And it started from doing virtual interviews after the pandemic. But specifically with those qualities and characteristics I'm looking for during that interview, first off, I'm trying to get a gauge of your personality and seeing what kind of person you are. Next, I'm looking at chemistry because I gotta know that you're a good fit, not only to the building, but to the whatever grade level I'm looking for, whatever grade level has that vacancy or department. So I gotta know the team that you're joining and how you'll mesh, with them. And then kind of to piggyback off of you two is that willingness to learn. And now that varies because with a brand new teacher, I think they come in super willing to learn because they don't have a ton of experiences to kind of lean on. Now, when you recruiting a veteran teacher, this stands out because you don't want all the time, you don't want that vet to come in that has his or her mind made up on how they do things and they stick into a certain way because every building is different. What may have worked for you in a different building or a different district may not be the way that we do things here in this building. So you always want to look at that willingness to learn. And then to kind of relate back to the last episode, I do want to see a little bit of ego. I don't want you to be in an interview and be super timid and it's like I'm begging you almost for responses and trying to pull things out of you. I want a person that's kind of got that little, that flair to them, like, oh, okay, this person thinks that they're a good educator. Because like I said before, you got to kind of have that mentality and know that you're good and believe in yourself. So I'm looking for that a little bit. Now, Dennis, from a
So,
leadership, oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
Before we go to Dennis, Mr. Love, I always tell my student teachers, not only are you being interviewed, but you're actually interviewing the school as well to see if
Mm-hmm.
that school is the best fit for you to work at. Because if you're seeing I mean, you should definitely ask questions when you are in an interview. Because like you said,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Love, if they don't show their ego or if they don't show that or ask questions or respond in a certain way, then that could be a little bit of a problem. So I should
Mm-hmm.
be interviewing the school as well as the school is interviewing me.